So here we have this VEVOR airless paint sprayer on wheels. Now, full disclosure, it was sent to me for free, but the opinions in this video are my own. In this video, I'm gonna put it together, show you how to use it, and then let you know how well it worked for me. Alright, so here's how it came right out of the package. Looks like there's a few parts to put together, so let's go ahead and do that now. There's a couple tubes that need to be connected together. They're just these push fittings, so they're super easy. Then you can put the wheels on. Each one just takes a bolt and cotter pin. And finally, screw the sprayer hose onto the machine and then onto the spray gun. And the connections have rubber seals, so you don't have to use Teflon tape, but you do still want to make sure you tighten them down. Alright, and there we go. That was super simple. Anyway, it came with an instruction booklet. It's really helpful if you haven't used one of these before. It also came with a little cleaning tool, 2 wrenches, an extra filter for the spray gun. If you unscrew the handle, you can take out the old one and put a new one in. It also comes with a filter for the end of the inlet tube, and then a 1-foot extension to get a bit more reach out of the spray gun. And that just screws onto here like this. And I like how it has these 2 thread protectors you can put on when you're not using it. Now let's take a closer look at the sprayer. It has a knob to control the pressure, a lever on the other side to change modes between priming and painting, a paint suction hose and a priming hose. They have clips to keep them together, a short power cord, nice big wheels that make it really easy to roll around, an on-off button on the top of the machine, a handle that makes it easy to push around as well as hold the paint hose, the 25-foot paint hose that's attached to the spray gun, and taking a closer look at that, it can rotate 360 degrees, has a nice big trigger as well as a lock so you can lock it open or shut, a small hook on top to hang it up, a nozzle that can be rotated to spray vertically or horizontally, and then this piece on the side to switch between a fully open nozzle and a spraying nozzle. Alright, and there was a quick look at it. Now I'm going to go spray the outside of a building so I can get familiar with this. Then I'll show you how to use it and let you know how it performed for me. I just used this thing to repaint the outside of a building, and I went through about 4 to 5 5-gallon buckets, so I think I got a pretty good idea on how to use it. But there were a couple small problems I had with it, so I'll get to those in just a second. Oh, and I figured out that this little cup here is to put the hoses in so they don't leak on the floor. Alright, so when you're ready to use this thing, you're going to take this hose and put it in the paint bucket, and then take this one and either hold it above the paint bucket or put it in a separate bucket. Then you're going to turn this lever to prime, which is down. I'm not sure why the sticker shows it like that. It's off by about 90 degrees, but I can assure you that down is prime. Then we're going to go over here and rotate the knob to prime and clean. And once you have this plugged in, you can turn it on. And I didn't do the best job at cleaning this, but pushing it this way turns it on. Then this is going to start sucking up paint and pushing the air out this hose. And when this small hose gets all the air bubbles out and is just spitting out paint, then you can connect it back into the bigger hose in the paint bucket. And you do want to make sure when you clip it together that both of the hoses are at the same level, otherwise you might have some problems. Now we can go over here, flip it to paint, and then turn the knob to the desired setting. I use it on the high setting the whole time, but there's also a low setting, and if you have a separate roller attachment, you can turn it to that too. Then of course you just use the spray gun to start spraying. And I found this extension rod really helpful. If like me, you haven't used a spray gun like this before, it does take a bit to get used to it and get a technique down. But once you do, it goes pretty fast, it's pretty easy, and it's a little bit of fun. So yeah, those are the basics on how to start and use this thing, and like I said, it's pretty simple. But now I'm going to get to a couple problems that I had with this thing. Alright, so one of the minor problems I had with this is it did clog on me once. But that was really simple to fix. You just turn it this way, and then it opens up the sprayer in here and just pushes it all out. And that worked great when it got clogged for me, but if it doesn't work for you, you may have to take apart the handle and clean out the little filter inside. Another problem I had is this hose is just a little bit too short. Even when you have this tied up against a 5-gallon bucket, the hose is still about 4 inches from the bottom, so you're going to be wasting a lot of paint. It'll fit just fine in a 1-gallon bucket, but if you're going to be spraying a lot, you're probably going to be using a 5-gallon bucket. A really quick fix for this is to just put it on about an 8-inch tall stand, and now it can reach the bottom of the bucket. Of course, the problem with this is it's going to be pretty annoying to move around. A better fix is to just replace both of these hoses with a slightly longer hose, and then you'll have no problem reaching the bottom of the bucket. So yeah, that's just a bit of a disappointment that they didn't think to make this 6 inches longer so it would work with the 5-gallon bucket. Apart from that though, this thing worked great, and I'll definitely be using it next time I have a large paint job. So if you can handle switching out those 2 hoses for slightly longer ones, or if you can think of another workaround for the bucket problem, then I think this is a great buy for such a cheap price compared to other airless paint sprayers.